Hey, hi everyone. Good evening, all. Good evening, students. Good evening. How to mark your attendance, guys? Just a minute. So, guys, let me introduce you all to myself. My name is Anam. I'm from Let's Upgrade. I'm one of the team member at Let's Upgrade, and today we are here to start with data science with Python bootcamp. I hope you all are excited for this one, and I welcome you all. Hello, good evening, guys. Good evening. Thank you. We'll start the session in 5 to 10 minutes. Till then, just let me share my screen and explain you all like how to mark our attendance and what are the procedures to get the certificate and everything. So, just good evening. Good evening, Sachin. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, just give me a second. Yeah. So, I hope my screen is visible to you all, guys. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat box, guys. Please let me know in the chat box that my screen is visible to you all. Good evening, good evening, good evening, Harsha. Good evening, Rakesh. What we will learn? We'll learn Python in data science. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So, guys, this here in the description box we have one link for everything, for like attendance registration, for LU coins, for attendance, for everything. We have this one link. You can see it in the description box, and it will be redirecting you to this enrollment page. Here you need to scroll down the page. Beside this day one, you will see mark attendance option. Click on this toggle, and here is the scale on 0 to 10. You have to give the ratings according to yourself. If you liked it the session, you can give 10 on 10, and for now I will give 10. This is the feedback option. If you like the session, you can give us a good feedback, and if you want us to improve anything, you can also put it here. For now I will give nothing and submit my assignment. So after submitting, just reload the page, and you can see this progress bar. It will increase day by day as you mark your attendance. So for on day 5 you will be getting your certificate based on this progress bar. So for this progress bar, you need to mark your attendance, and the generate certificate option will be available here right beside the progress bar. And also we have WhatsApp communities, Telegram channel, and we have this referral policy. Please go through this policy and check what is it. And for more upcoming essentials feedback, for more reminders and like updates, you can join our WhatsApp community to know about it. And also we are starting with Flutter from tomorrow. You also at 7:30 you all can join us there, guys. Just good evening. 5 days are enough? Yes, yes, only competition. The 5 days are enough for you all. We teach from basics to advanced in this 5 days boot camp, and our trainer will help you to excel in this, and we will clear your doubts too. I will put the attendance link in the chat box. Till then, you can please tell us from where you people are joining, from which field you are, and what you people are learning, and in what you people are like interested. Till then, I will join our trainer, that is Satyam sir. He will tell you more about this boot camp. So just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
Anna ma'am. How are you?
Hi. Good evening, sir. How are you? I'm good, sir.
Yes, I'm also good.
So, sir, you can give a short brief to them, like what are we going to learn in this 5 days boot camp,
All right.
so that they will be
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Right. Yeah. So, guys, this is basically a 5-day bootcamp of data science. So, what we'll be going to do is that on the day one, we'll be just going to learn about the basic of Python, and on the day two, we'll be just going to learn about the libraries in that we'll be basically going to use in data science. And after that, we'll be just going to learn some machine learning techniques, the algorithms, the regression, and the classification. And at the end of the day, we'll be just going to do a small project that will going to include all the things that we have learned from the very scratch. So like this is the whole structure that we'll be basically to follow.
Yeah, sir. So, sir, you
Okay.
can continue with the session, and I will take a leave. So,
Yeah.
bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Bye, sir.
Okay. So all right, guys. CNN network we will be not going to cover. This is just a machine learning part that we'll be going to cover basically over here. Okay. All right, guys. So let's just get started over here. So what we'll be going to do for now is that in data science, first we'll be basically going to use Google Colab. Now, what is basically a Google Colab? For writing down some kind of a code, at the end you basically need some kind of a compiler or some kind of a ID you basically gonna need. So over here, what we'll be basically going to use, we'll be simply going to write Google Colab on this thing on Google, and we'll be just simply going to hit enter. So after that, you will be able to see this page. So on the first page, you will be able to see this Google Colab. So you just have to click on this link. And after that, you basically just have to click over here in new notebook, and I just right click over here. Yes, this session will be of 1 hour only. All right. So now you will be able to see that this is basically a Google Colab. We can use VS Code also. There are many more advantages of Google Colab over VS Code is. But only just 1 second. Right? Hello, is my voice clear now, guys? Is it clear now? Okay, is my voice clear now? Okay, good. So what we'll be going to do over here, that this is basically the notebook where we're basically going to write the code. So let us just say we'll be just going to write anything. Let us just say in Python, if you want to print something, so there is a print statement. So I'll be just going to write hi over here, and I'll be simply going to print. So this is basically a kind of Jupyter notebook. So just tell me guys, how many of you are aware about Jupyter notebook? Okay. How many of you are aware about Jupyter notebook? What is Jupyter notebook? All right. So what we'll be basically going to do over here is that this is basically a Jupyter notebook that will be going to work. So there is an advantage of using Jupyter notebook. That is basically whenever you will be just going to write a code. So on the same cell, it will be basically going to give you the output. Yes, Jupyter VS Code Jupyter notebook we can even use, but over here we don't have to install it. You basically don't have to install any kind of application. All right. Now, so let's just start with Python. So now if I just talk about why basically Python is important in data science. So Python, I can basically say if you guys are from a non-technical background, so there is like no problem. You guys like can easily learn Python because Python is basically a very easy language as compared to other languages. Your certification will be free. All right. Okay. So what we will be basically going to do over here, you'll be able to see if you'll be just going, if you just hover your mouse over here on the runtime, and if you'll be just going to click over here, you'll be able to see like multiple things are basically there. So right now you basically have to focus on change runtime type only. So if I'll be just going to click over here, you'll be able to see that it is basically going to give me that whether I want to work like with Python 3 or R. So obviously we'll be going to work with Python only. And over here we have CPU and we have GPU also. So right now we'll be just going to work with the GPU part only. And after that, what we'll be basically going to do is, yeah. So after that, what we'll be basically going to do is, we'll be just going to learn some of the basic of the Python over here. So let us just say, we'll be just going to learn over here Python operators we'll be basically going to learn first of all. Okay. Just see guys, this is basically nothing. This is a runtime. Let us just say if you are basically learning a data science, all right. So at one time you basically have to learn deep learning on also, because machine learning is basically not sufficient. So you even have to learn deep learning, and whenever you will be going to jump for the deep learning part, at that time what will basically going to happen? You will going to use the GPU over here. Okay, you will basically going to use the GPU. So GPU is basically what? GPU is basically, I can say, upgraded version of CPU. Whenever you will be going to work with artificial intelligence model, at that time you need GPU. So most of you might not have GPU in your local system. So over here Google Colab will going to give you free GPU. That is the benefit of using Google Colab. Okay, so we'll be simply going to use Python operators over here. Let us just say what Python is. Python is basically a very easy language. If I'll be just going to store a is equal to 2, all right, and whenever I'll be just going to call a, it will going to give me 2, right? And let us just say if I'll be just going to do b is equal to 4, and whenever I'll be just going to call b, it will going to give me 4. So b is basically what over here? It is nothing but it is a variable. And 4 is what? 4 is the value that we are storing in it. Let's just say if I have to call someone, so for sure I'll be going to call you by your name. Only then you will be going to understand, right? So if you guys don't have name, how I'll be just going to call anybody, right? So that is the same thing. If we have to store some kind of a value in Python, we basically use variable. So this a work like a variable only over here, and 2 work like a value, nothing else. All right. Now let us just say one thing. If I have entered a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 4, now I'll be just going to write a is equal to 5. Now if I just print a, what do you think what it will give me? What do you think now, guys? What it will give me? Will it going to give me 2 or will it going to give me 5? 5. Okay, 5, 5, 5. All right. So if I'll be just going to simply going to run it, it is giving me 5. Why? Why it is basically giving me 5? Can anyone tell me over here? Yes, because we are basically overwriting the value. Previously a was 2, but in the latest cell I have run a is equal to 5. All right. So I have overwritten this a variable. Yes, because it has updated it. We have overwritten these things. So this basically thing is called as overwrite. All right. Yeah, guys. Now let us just say, so these are like some basic operation in Python. If I basically have to do the multiplication of something, so 5 and multiply sign and then 3, so it will basically going to give me 15. These are nothing but these are your Python operators. Okay. If I basically have to like do something else, let us just say 10 minus 4. So what it will give me? It will basically going to give me 6. Okay. So these are nothing but these are your Python operators. All right. Now let us just say if I'll be just going to say a is equal to 2 and I'll be just going to say b is equal to 2 also. Now if I basically have to compare whether a is equal, whether the value that I have in a is equal to the value that I have in a b variable. So what do you think, guys? How we'll be going to do it? If I have to compare in a variable and in a b variable, do I have the same value or not? So how I'll be going to compare it? Can anyone tell me this thing? We'll be just simply going to write a and 2 times is equal to and b. Yes, guys, you are right. So it is going to give me true. True basically means yes, these both basically have the same value, nothing else. All right. Yes. So these are some very basic operations in Python. Now let us just talk about some data types in Python. Data types in Python we'll be just going to look. Okay. So guys, are you guys aware about what is data types in Python? Who is not aware about? Okay, int, float, right? What are other variables? What are, sorry, other data types? Okay. If someone will going to ask you that you basically have to name at least 5 data types in Python. So what are that 5 data types in Python? Int, bool, okay. Float someone, okay, list, okay, double, int, bool, okay, yeah, list, character, but basically that is your string, right? Num, bool, bool, yeah, right. Yes, guys, right. So we'll be just going to learn these things, the basic things only in the day one. So yes, and I'll be just going to ask you in between also that if you guys are aware about it or not. So if I just talk about numerical values, okay. So if I just simply talk about numerical value, okay. So we basically have int, majorly int and float. We even have complex number, but let's just skip that for now. So we have int and float. If I'll be just going to write a is equal to 5, and how I'll be basically going to check that what type it is. So for checking the type of something in Python, we basically just have to write type and 5 a. The variable name we'll be just going to call. So let's just say what it will basically going to give me. It is showing me int. What does this thing basically means? That means it is an integer. But same if I'll be just going to write 5.0, if I'll be just going to use this point over here, and if I'll be just going to write type B. So what do you think, guys, what it will going to give me? Previously when I was writing type A, so it was giving me int. Now if I'm basically doing type B, what do you think what it will going to give me? Float, yeah, right. Float it will going to give me. So let's just print this thing out. So it is giving me float. Okay. Now let us just say this is just a integer value. Till now we was like all talking about the integer value. But what if the data is in text? Because in data science you will be going to receive a data in any kind of a format. Now let us just say I have D, right? What let us just say if this is a data type, that means basically let us just say welcome to Let's Upgrade Bootcamp. Okay, what if the data is being written like this? If I'll be simply going to write now type D, what do you think, guys, what it will going to give me? String, str, yeah. So it will going to give me str. So it is again a data type that is basically known as string. This is even an interview question, guys. Like interviewer can ask you, okay, you basically have to tell me all the data types that we basically have in Python. So at that time you basically have to mention all of these things. All right. So if I'll be simply going to type this t, it will going to show me a string. All right. Now let's just say one thing. Let us just define one more variable. The name I'll be just going to write str1 over here, and I'll be just going to write some values. Let us just say uh, a some number like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and again 3, 4, 5. Now what do you think, guys? If I'll be just going to print the type of this one, what it will going to give me? Now if I'll be just going to write the type of str1, what do you think what it will going to give me? No, I'm basically not ignoring messages, guys. What you are saying? Look, over here in the day one, we'll be just going to learn the basic one only. And in the day just going to learn the advanced one. So this is like from a very basic to very advanced thing. Okay, string. But why? Obviously, it will going to give me a string. But what do you think, guys? Why it is giving me a string? Because over here I have mentioned numbers only inside it. What if I'll be just going to remove this space? Okay. So if someone will basically going to ask you the reason behind it, that why it is giving you the string, what do you think? What is the reason? Yes, because we have mentioned it in a string format. Now, okay, tell me one thing. If I have to convert this thing in an integer, what I'll be just going to do? What I have to do if I have to convert this in a integer? Okay, we can remove this thing and anything else. But just see, I have this variable str1. Okay, okay. I have to mention int in front of it, right? Okay. So now if I'll be just simply going to check the type of it, it will going to give me int. All right. That means we have like converted it in an int format, right? We have converted it in an int format. Yeah. Now, so we have discussed like integer is basically there, float is basically there, string is basically there. Now let us just say there is something called as list in Python. Let us just say list one variable I am basically defining. We'll be even going to discuss the use case of it, like where we'll be going to use the string, where we'll be going to use the integer, where we'll be going to use the float, and where we'll be going to use the list and each and every data types that we are basically discussing over here. All right, like before this thing, I think we should discuss one more thing. Let's just say if I'll have this thing. So if I'll be just going to write the type of it, guys, what do you think what it will give me? If I have to check the type of this true, or let us just say type false. Boolean, right. So these are basically known as your booleans, true and false. So string is there, integer is there, float is there, and boolean is basically there. Now let's just discuss the list. So the list, we'll be just going to discuss about the list. Whenever you are defining any kind of a list in Python, you have to make sure one thing, that you should mention this square brackets. Inside this, we'll be simply going to mention, let us just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And whenever I'll be just going to call this list, it will look like this. Now, if I just have to check the data type of it, so let's just say type and list1. So it is giving me that it is a list. So these are nothing but these are your data types in Python. Now, right now we have stored integers value in it, but if you want, you can even store string values or integer values also. Let us just say how. Let us just say A, B, and some name will be there. Let's upgrade. Let's just say let's upgrade, and let's just say my name I'll be just going to write, and I'll be simply going to run it. And whenever I'll be just going to click this variable, so it will going to give me that it has all of these values, that is A, B, let's upgrade, and Satya. All right. Now if I just check the type of it, so it basically have. Now tell me one thing, guys. Let us just say I'll be just going to define one more variable, list2, and I'll be just going to write, let's just say Satyam is basically there. Now just tell me one thing, guys. If this is a list, right? I have mentioned Satyam and 3 is basically in a string, and I have even mentioned 472 and B. So what do you think? If I'll be just going to execute it, will it going to give me any kind of a error, or it will just successfully going to execute? Will it give me error or not? Error. Okay, Utkarsh is saying that it will basically give me error. What about others? Error, error. Okay, error, error. No. Okay, okay. Executed. Okay, error. All right. So let me just execute it. So just see, it is now basically not giving me any kind of an error, and I'll be even going to check the type of it. So let's just check the type of it. So it is like list. So list is basically something which can basically store multiple data types. Like you can even store a string in it, you can even store int in it, you can even store float value in it. Okay. So this is basically the list. Okay, so guys, for the 5 net, like there is one thing, some kind of a this thing. Let's Upgrade team will basically going to join, and they'll be just going to brief you about something. So let's just make sure that you guys basically put your attention over there. So I basically request the Let's Upgrade team that they can basically join now. They are like here to make some kind of a announcement, guys. Uh, let's just wait. No, they'll be not going to ask for any kind of a subscription plan. That is for your good only. Okay, so just within 2 minutes, they'll be just going to join. So till then, we'll be just going to discuss the further things. So this is basically the data type list. Now we have one more data type that is going to be tuple. This is like from 6 to 7. From like Monday to Friday, we have this session 6 to 7. You'll be able to mark the attendance. Don't worry, Anam will be there and she'll be going to teach you that how you'll be able to do it. In the description link only, there will be like one link. From that particular link, you'll be able to get all of the things, the notes, the attendance and the certificate. Each and everything will be there. Obviously guys, you'll be going to get the certificate. Don't worry about this thing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we basically have tuple over here. So tuple is basically going to look like, whenever you will be going to execute tuple, it will basically going to look like with a round brackets. You have to mention this thing in a round bracket. If I'll be simply going to check the type of it, it will basically going to, okay. Okay guys, so
Sorry to
yeah, let's,
interrupt.
yeah.
Hi
Hello guys.
guys. So we are the team behind Essentials. So we are here to gain your valuable feedback. For that, I would request you all to join our WhatsApp group. Come, give your suggestions over there. We will try to work on that and we'll make this Essential successful, guys. Join the group. Link is in the bio. We'll be giving the link in the chat. Please join the group. You are welcome there and give your valuable suggestions. Then we will work on that together. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good session.
Yeah, thank you team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys. So guys, it is like nothing. They have basically given a link. So you basically have to go over there and you basically have to share your valuable suggestions, like what kind of a courses you basically want to. Yeah, certificate is free. Don't worry about the certificate, guys. Like what kind of a courses you basically want, what kind of a this thing, material you basically want in that particular course. Let's just say you guys basically want a deep learning session or a natural language processing session or maybe a generative AI session, right? So you can basically ask them and you can basically put your message in the feedback and all. So Let's Upgrade will basically going to arrange these things for all of you. All right. So now what we basically have now, we basically have a tuple. So whenever if I'll be just going to right? Yes, the certificate will be worth for this thing. Don't worry about this thing. Now, if I'll be just simply going to write the type and tuple one, so it will basically going to give you tuple as a data type. Okay, it will like easily going to give you tuple as a data type. Now, if you, yeah, if you basically want to mention multiple things over here, let's just say tuple 2, right? And I'll be just simply going to write this thing. Okay, and I'll be just going to print tuple 2. So it will even going to store the different data types. Okay, it will not going to give you any kind of error. Prashant, just do one thing, just be on this boot camp and you'll be able to learn. Over here we are like discussing the most important things only, like we are not like discussing all the basic thing. So from the basic you will be just going to learn the advanced one also over here, so you don't have to worry about these things. Now let us just say what we will be basically going to do is, after that we have one more data type, that is going to be dictionary. Okay, that is basically going to be the dictionary one, right? So what we'll be going to do over here is that dictionary is basically something which store the values in key and value pair, right? It basically store value in key and value pair. Okay, it basically store the this thing in key and, yeah, key and value pair. So what is basically a key? Let us just say my name is Satyam and I'm basically working as a data scientist, right? Then let us just say we have another one member, let us just say Tanya is basically there. So she is like working as a Python developer, right? So like she's working like a Python developer. So whenever I'll be just going to print this ticked one, it will going to print me the values in this way. So this Satyam is basically nothing, it is a key, and this thing that you'll be able to see, that is nothing but that is your value. And over here you'll be able to see this Tanya. So Tanya is basically nothing, it is a key and it is a value pair. Now just tell me one thing guys, what if I basically have to get the value of Satyam? How I'll be able to get it? How I'll be able to get, if I basically have to check like what is the job profile of Satyam, and this is the given dictionary. So how I'll be going to check it? Okay, can anyone tell me how I'll be able to check it? Okay, some people are basically saying that I have to call it like this. Okay, no, it is not giving me. Some are basically saying that I basically have to do this thing. Okay, again it is basically giving me error. But yes, some are basically saying that I basically have to check it like this. In a square bracket I have to mention it. If I'll be going to mention it in a square bracket, so at that time I'll be able to get the job profile of Satya. And let us just say same thing if I have to do with Tanya, what I'll be just going to do. Yeah, print we can even add, but as we are using a Jupyter notebook, so there is no need for the print. Yeah. So instead of just Satyam, we'll be just going to write Tanya, the particular key. But what if I'll be just going to write, I'll be just going to remove the A and I'll be just going to write Tany. And if I'll be just going to run it, it will going to give me an error. It is saying key error. That means there is no type of key that is present over here. So you have to make sure one thing, that whenever you are calling something, the key value should be absolutely correct. All right. Now let us just say I basically have to change this data scientist to machine learning engineer. I basically have to change it to what? To this ML engineer. How I'll be able to do it now? Tuple basically contains a value like this, but dictionary always store the values in key and value pair. Yes, you can add, you basically have to mention a list over here like this, and you can basically add multiple values over here now. But just tell me one thing, guys. If I have to change my position from data scientist to ML engineer, how I'll be able to do it? Okay, so some people are saying that this is how I have to do it. Let's just say dict 1 Satyam is equal to ML engineer. Now, if I'll be just going to call this one, guys, if I'll be going to print this one, what do you think it will going to give me? What do you think what it will going to give me now? Okay. No, it is not going to give error because we have override this value. Right now we have seen it, no? When we was working with this A, over here we have discussed it, that what is overwriting and all. Okay. So this is basically your ML engineer. So that is your basically your dictionary. Now let us discuss about a list also. Some things about list also. List is equal to, I have this list. Now let us just say I want to change this 3 to 6. I want to replace this value from 3 to 6. I want to replace it like this. The same thing that we have did with dictionary. I want to do the same thing with list. So how I'll be able to do it? But why we should use list and 2? Index value, how I'll be able to get this index value? I think this index is at 3, like 1, 2 and 3 is there. So why should I consider 2? List 1, 2 is equal to 6. This is what you are saying, right? But like, I think it should be this thing. List 1, 3 is equal to 6. Why it is not 3? Why it is not 2? Yes, because the index always start from 0. All right. Now, if I'll be just going to print this one, obviously you'll be able to see that we have changed the value over here. Okay. Yes, yeah, right. Now let us just say if I have to do with this one, I want to change the value of 5. So what I'll be going to do? If I have to change the value of 5 to 7, I want to change the value of 7. Okay. But let us just say I don't want to mention 4. Is there something else that I can basically mention in place of 4? Have you guys heard of negative indexing? How many of you are aware about negative indexing, guys? Yeah. So I can mention 4 also, but we can do negative indexing over here. So if I'll be just going to print this list 1, so it will going to give me 1, 2, 6, 4, 7. So this is basically nothing. Negative indexing, always consider things from the end. Let's just say this is your -1. This is going to be a -2, -3, -4, and this thing. All right. Yes. So this is how it works. Now let us just say if I have list one if I'll be just going to call, it will going to look like this. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, but after 7 I want to add one more number. Let's just say I want to add 10. So how I'll be able to do it? Okay, append. Okay, so let us just say list1 dot append 10, and if I'll be just going to print this list1. So append is now what? With respect to each and every data type, we have our inbuilt functions. Like if there is already a list that has been created and you basically want to add that particular number in a list, anything. So you can use append. So it will going to create that particular data in a existing list. Now let us just say I have list2 is equal to uh, like this. Now I want to add this list in this list. So I'll be just going to use list1 dot append list2. And if I'll be just going to print list1, it is basically giving me a result like this, that inside a list I have another list. So if I want to add the number like this, how I can basically do it? Can anyone tell me this thing? Okay, plus most of you are basically saying that I should do this thing list1 plus list2, right? So let's just execute it and see what it is going to give me. So it will be able to give you this one. But apart from this one, can we use something else also? So there is one thing also, guys, that is like list1 dot extend list2. So now if I'll be going to print this list1, it will going to give me like this. Now tell me one thing. What do you think? What is the difference between this plus and this extend? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between this extend and plus? There might be some kind of a difference, right? When, okay, just tell me one thing. Okay, if interviewer will going to ask you that where you can use this addition and where you can just use this extend. Okay, addition is basically Rahul is saying addition plus addition the list. Your process repeat will be complete for 100% and you will be download certificate. Okay, plus for data types operation extend. Okay, just see if I have did this thing list1 plus list2, and if I'll be just going to print list1, why it is not giving me all of these numbers? Over here I have did this operation, right? List1 plus list2, but when I'll be just going to call this list1, why it is only giving me the previous list1 values? But over here if I'll be just going to print list1, why it is giving me all the values that I have even like added in the extension part? Can anyone tell me this thing? Yes, because over here if you'll be going to use plus, you have to store it in a new variable. But if in an existing list you want to add this number, at that time you will be going to use extend. Okay, that is the main thing, guys. Now, okay, how many of you are aware about if and else condition in Python? What are if and else condition? Yes, that will also work, right, guys? Plus n is equal to. Okay. So let us just say if I'll be just going to consider a if and else statement. Let us just say how does it work? Let's just say today if you guys are learning two languages, let's just say Python you are learning and you are learning Java or maybe a JavaScript. So you'll be just going to look into, okay, side by side I'll be going to learn Python and side by side I even going to learn Java or JS. And in whichever domain I'll be basically going to get a job, so I'll be just going to pick that language only. So that is if and else. If I will get a job with Python, then I'll be going to continue Python. And if I'll not going to get job in Python, I'll be going to get job in Java and I'll be going to continue with Java. So that is basically your if and else. Okay, let us say now I have A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 2. So for writing if and else, I'll be just going to do if A is greater than B, print A is greater than B, else print B is greater than A. So what do you think what it will going to give me, guys? What do you think? What it will going to give me? Okay, if and else condition is basically nothing. Let us just say if today you went to market and you basically want to buy kurkure, but you didn't got it, so you always have a plan B, that if I will not get kurkure, I will buy Lay's or something else. So that is your if and else condition. Okay, so it is basically giving me A is greater than B. But if I'll be just going to opposite the sign, now what it will give me? Now what do you think what it will give me? Over here I'm saying A is small and B is large. So it will going to give me B is greater than A, because that is in the else condition, right? Okay. Similarly, let me just give you a little bit introduction about loops, and after that we'll be just going to end the session. Now, if I basically have a list, right? So what is a basically loop? Loop is something from which we'll be one by one going to iterate the values. So for writing a loop, there's this thing. You basically have to write for number in list 1. So this is basically a for loop. We basically have for loop and while loop. So right now we are considering for loop only. And if I'll be just going to print number, so it will basically going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So one by one, it will be basically going to print each and everything. Okay. Now how to manipulate this loop and what else thing we can basically add in this loop and multiple things, that we'll be going to learn in the tomorrow session. Okay. So I can basically say, guys, this is it for today's session. Tomorrow we'll be like going to cover the rest of the thing. Plus we'll be even going to explore what is this pandas and how we can manipulate loops, what else thing we can basically add in it. So till now, do you guys have any kind of a question? Till now, do you guys have any kind of a question, guys? Yeah, pandas will be going to cover multiple things. I'll be going to show you with pandas some new things that we'll be going to use in the real life. Okay, okay. All right, guys. So I can basically say this is it about today's session. Tomorrow we'll be going to, yeah, Asta, don't worry. I'll be going to explain you the loop tomorrow. No worries, because we basically have to learn multiple things in the loop. So tomorrow we'll be going to continue this thing. Okay. Data science is basically with the help of artificial intelligence model we use to solve business problems. Tomorrow I'll be going to explain you, I'll be going to give you real life examples tomorrow, so you'll be able to relate these things. Yeah, you'll be able to get this file in the one link only. I'll be just going to upload this file over there. So whenever you'll be going to click on that one particular link, it will be basically going to give you that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you'll be going to get this file. Okay, guys. Okay, then I can basically say this is it for today's session. Okay, guys. So tomorrow we'll be going to continue this thing. So bye bye each and everyone, guys. Take care. Good night. Thank you, guys. Bye. Thanks for joining. Bye.